Hello there, welcome to Not For Radio. We are your hosts, Duncan Hyde, Jay Reeve.
Huzzah.
Caution, this podcast will contain some swearing, but some bloody good times. Plenty on it too. We find out the true background to Worcestershire sauce. How'd that thing come about? I reckon that was a mistake.
We're judging by how fuck the name is. Yes, 100%. Get a bit of feedback from the snipers. Dunc's dad's car and the adornments that he's put on it. He's customised it.
Yeah, well,
I wouldn't call him a boy racer.
Not far off it.
Yeah.
You're never too old to customise a car. I think it's a good time to start becoming a boy racer at 70.
Dunk talks about his tubby hand job. And Wesley Lee has got a weird addiction, a questionable addiction too, to a winged insect.
Also, as well, we get into a little bit of deep fake AI chat, the future.
And a bloke...
And he can make money off it as well.
Yeah, and a bloke out of the Nacky who pulled a couple of bugs of the shittest weed he's ever had.
And before we get into it, we have some team kit to give away to our Sniper Elite members. Dave Ogilvie, Lauren Goodwin, Lyle Edge. He says, after listening to the yarn about the firefighter lifting almost the 300 kg woman down the stairs, it's safe to say I'm going to need a new shirt because I could not keep my lunch down. Awesome yarns, guys. Keep up the great work. Otherwise, bloody legends. If you want to hear that one, super hectic. One of our Sniper Elite episodes, I believe. Once again, the podcast is available for all people to get those extra 3 episodes a week. Wherever you get your podcasts, you can jump on that for less than the price of a beer a month, I think it is, something like that. And we're on YouTube now too. You might be watching this on YouTube now. Those videos are coming together good, so thanks to the team behind chucking the whole episodes up as well. Enjoy the potty.
Smells like another cracker of a day. The sun is burning high in the sky. Could be a good day to go swimming. Swimming in creamy fucking pints.
Such a great accent, isn't it?
Oh yeah, it's glorious.
Yeah, there's a kid that I'm fucking ruthlessly stalking at the moment who's become quite famous on Instagram recently. The Slurry Man. Ian from Cork. We're running him down. Well, I've tracked him down.
What's he
slid
do?
into
What's
the
his jam?
DMs. He's getting interviewed at a ploughing competition. So he's a driver for a tractor driver, obviously. And he's at this ploughing comp and he's talking about what's your favourite thing to do, and he's like slurry. So it's basically spreading shit that comes when you're hosing down a yard and all that shit goes into like a settlement pond. They go and pump that back out over the paddocks. But just the chat on the bloke, he's fucking like everyone's like, he's more Irish than I am. Someone went through and subtitled it, which is great. But this is obviously Rogue played off the phone. But have a listen to him.
So tell us your name and where you're from yourself.
Owen Lynch from Mitchtown, Cork, Munster.
And how is the ploughing going for you today?
Savage heat, bad all out. We're enjoying it now. There's a lot of various saws around the place, so it's good now. It's going to go now. So.
And I suppose anything in particular you have an interest in at the ploughing? Or?
Slurry. Jez, I love the slurry gear. Lot of slurry. I just think about slurry. I eat slurry and dream about slurry. That's my motto now. So yeah.
And sure, what are you going to do now when the season's wrapped up on the 1st of October?
Spread parlour washings. That's what we're going.
Anyway, it's such a great accent. I absolutely love it. And we've managed to track him down.
Great.
Yeah.
Well, let's get him on.
Hopefully we'll get him on.
Looking forward to not understanding a word he says. It's going to be an interesting interview.
His subtitles all round.
Pushing the boundaries in 2025. Speaking of pushing boundaries, I just love it. Every now and then you're like, man, that is some absolutely outrageous shit that someone like pitched in a meeting.
Yeah, and someone said yes to.
And then they said yes to it, and then they filmed it, everyone acted it, and then it got cleared by the network and then put on TV, and you're just like, fuck, there's a lot of yeses to get something on TV.
Yeah.
And so the reason why this is hectic, it's a sketch where a bloke's teaching a bunch of kids, there's like 30 kids in this classroom, and the stuff he's saying, like, and that's a lot of yeses from all the parents, being like, fuck it, whatever, have a go.
Sometimes it can be shot, so anything that's looking at him could have been said with the kids out of the class.
Well,
and so you double shoot it, unless they're
tell
reacting.
me if this is bad enough and that needed to be the case.
Was you addicted to drugs?
No, I can quit drugs anytime. Sometimes I go 2 days without getting high. I got hooked on something much more dangerous than drugs. I became addicted to something called hoes. Shut up! This shit ain't funny.
Oh my gosh.
Addicted to hoes.
Yeah.
Guilty.
Shut up. What would be more expensive? Surely a drug habit. A drug habit would be.
No.
Because you'd be blowing cobwebs eventually.
Yeah, but still.
And the desire would drop. But, you know, that
I reckon-
heroin itch, man, that's a strong one.
I think you're just in a sliding scale. I've had this conversation once again. The weird things that interest me and make my brain tick over. So I've got friends that are fly-in, fly-out miners in Australia, and the sex worker industry over there is fucking absolutely firing. So most of the FIFO, this is a sweeping generalisation. There'll be people listening to this going, fuck off. Or somebody sitting next to their missus in a car listening to this and they're a fly-in, fly-out. Just fucking turn it down, mate. Imaginary golf swing and come back in 5 minutes. So basically he was like, he flies in and normally goes to the same sort of setup. There's a rotation of professionals that go through this setup, and I was like, how's it, like, I've never, like, I'll tell you if I've done it, I've never had sex with a sex worker, and it just fascinates me. Wesley Lee's looking out the window. Fair enough, mate.
Is there...
Never paid.
Do you reckon there's a Thursday afternoon email that goes out, and it's like, hey, lads, put in your order, and like you do for a school lunch?
I mean, I wouldn't doubt it.
Because if they're there to, you know, crank out as much work as possible,
Yep.
then you don't want to be buggering around like all the lads have to come out of their cabins or whatever and go and have a look. It'd just be good to, maybe you got a regular, I don't know.
Yeah, but there's also fly-in, fly-out sex workers. So
That's what I mean, because they fly in and you need to know what you're getting.
Yeah, I would say so that you would arrange it, you would book it in. If you would imagine it like an osteopath or a chiropractor.
But more fun.
Yeah, but instead of getting your back sorted out, you get your sack emptied.
You get your other bones clicked.
And because for me, obviously, I know how it works. I know the mechanics behind it, but it's the fucking chat that gets me. Like, hey, how's your day been?
Yeah, buddy, God, I'll tell you what, I'm glad to see you. I'm sick of hanging around that many cock and balls, bloody 2K underground. We're having a shower first. What are we doing, love?
And those questions too. So you're trying to spark up what would be small talk for any other time. And obviously it's like, I'm sure it'd be the conversation.
If I was a sex worker, I'd be so mechanical about it.
Of course you would be.
I don't want to sit there and have like small talk conversation. I'll be like, right, let's get this person G'd up as fast as possible. Burst the bickies, get them in and out, and then collect the Benjamins.
Yeah, because you're not there fucking tickling their back for the other 45 minutes of the hour booking,
You might have
are
to
you?
if you're paid for an hour.
I don't want, once again, all questions I would love
What have you
answers
heard,
to.
Wesley Lee?
Well, I'm curious because is this the kind of thing where you pay by the hour or do you pay by the act?
I see, once again, I don't have answers to those questions.
So, how funny is this? I've just finished a book, and it was on Shearing family in the late 1880s in Australia.
Yeah.
And so they're talking about the brothels and the knock shops in Melbourne at the time and Sydney. And so they would have a fake bar at the front, and you'd walk in and it looked like a bar. You could order food and shit, and then it was a knock shop up out the back. And this is like, this lady, the incredible amount of research goes into those like semi-factual non-fictions.
Yeah.
Because there's got to be, you can't just make shit up. You've got to actually make it, seem like you know what you're talking about. And this lady did an incredible job. So I assume these places existed. But in the book, I was talking about like all sorts of weird shit that one of these dudes was into, like all sorts of dominatrix getting strung up and battened and stuff. I was like, man, it's been going on forever. Like that's a super strict formal time where it's like, how do you do, sir? Good day, ma'am. And then they're doing that shit in the back rooms of these brothels in the back of these pubs. But in that, they did say that it was like book an hour, and then if you're over fast, then you can like wait and try and go again or whatever. So it's not like you're done.
Yeah.
It's on the client. You've booked the whole hour slot. And you can make them sit there and talk, apparently.
Yeah. Well, yeah, which would be kind of punishing. I don't know. I just imagine that there would be.
Hey, love, we're going to buy a house out in the country together. We'll get you out of this.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, I'm earning good money in town. You're too good looking to be doing this.
Yeah, and also that person that you are having that interaction with, that transaction with, has seen like probably collectively 10 meters of dick that day, you know? Like it's just...
Well, if you count him by the thrust,
yeah,
it'd be
and then you go... this is how it plays out in my head. Because you'd be nervous as fuck going in there for the first time. You're like, hey, so it's kind of like the cab ride. When did you start? Oh, you started at 6 this morning. Oh, yep, sweet
Big
as.
day.
Into what are your hobbies?
What's the last joker's occupation?
Patient, yeah. Or and I imagine that the reverse conversation would be like, oh, it's just my first day on the job. You're my first client. Like as a seasoned 30-year veteran in the game. Oh, this is special.
I just find it incredible because I could never do it.
What would be the thing that holds you back other than marriage? Because if you so many people go, I don't need to pay for sex. My fucking ass, you don't. You went out to a bar and you spent $400 and fucking vodka Red Bulls for some chick that you've been chatting up all night. You pay either way. You pay for the cab, you pay for breakfast in the morning, or you pay for the cab home. Like if you think you're getting away with anything under a couple of $100, you're kidding. And that's exactly what you part with when you go there.
I think it'd be fun for a while, and then once the novelty wears off, we always talk about if you have to turn up at a time and be somewhere, then it's a job. So that side of it, yes, that would be fun for a little bit, but then it wouldn't be, and then I think you'd just feel used and dirty.
What? Who? The person, the sex worker, or the person that's using
if I was
sex
a sex worker,
yeah,
and these people turning up one after another, you'd be like, oh, I've got nothing left to give.
I suppose
is it different for a bloke, eh?
It's a skill set.
Is it?
So that you our skill set, or if you could call it that, is talking. Everyone fucking does it. Everyone fucks. They're getting paid for doing something that we all do for free.
Yeah, but it's like those days when you wouldn't want to do it.
When you probably wouldn't turn up. You'd look at your bank account.
Still turn up here some days where I don't want to do it.
Yeah, exactly.
Exact same thing.
This is the comparison. You put a fucking smile on your face and you fake it till the fucking job is done.
Just play, get on with it, eh?
We are prostituting ourselves to this company and we get fucked every day.
Can I just say on the record, those days are very few and far between in our particular job. We've talked about it before. It's our bloody dream job.
Yeah.
Did you see the chick in the news at the moment? And she's someone of note in the UK, and she released her Deepfake Sex video. So she's someone with a high profile over there, is dating another high profile bloke, and she's like, yeah, I've signed a deal to do a deep fake video, and they could just go, she would have had to get certain photos and videos taken for that to go on the head or whatever, and it's like...
To me, that's a fucking way forward. Because you can say, this is why I do it. This is why I do it. Because you could do a deep fake deal with somebody, get the money. It's clearly not you having sex. It's somebody else. But then you can fucking never get done for a sex tape because you can always say it's a fucking deep fake.
I love it how your brain goes there straight away. I was thinking you're earning without turning up, which is half that thing I was just talking about. Which is why, remember we were talking last year on the podcast about AI and all the top CEOs of the biggest companies in the world have sat down with AI, and now at some point people like Tony Robbins, at some point they will have the AI will go back through every single interview and board meeting that's been recorded and create this wealth of knowledge of that CEO, and then you can then buy time with the AI version of that CEO from that CEO at say $2,000 an hour or something like that.
Yep.
And this can continue to happen after that person dies. And so you could have 10,000 people across the globe paying $2,000 an hour every hour. Yeah. And that person can't be in all those different places.
Yeah,
but you get different information from the AI or whatever. So apparently that's where they're going with it. So to the point where at some stage in the future, CEO dies, business can still run. Got AI version of them.
Yeah.
How fucking weird is that?
Making the call and dicking the market around or whatever it was.
But you go say if you were to do a one-on-one with Tony Robbins, a life coach or whatever.
Yeah.
I'd imagine that'd be tens of thousands of dollars.
I'd say probably $100 plus.
To have a one-on-one session with him.
Yeah.
But then he can charge himself out at $300 and do it to hundreds of thousands of people. Well, that's way smarter.
Totally.
And AI doesn't get tired. AI doesn't take holidays. AI doesn't take vape breaks.
Yeah, AI doesn't get sick. AI doesn't have a fucking phobia of traveling. Doesn't get food poisoning.
Got great mental health.
Yeah, fucking sweet.
Turns up hungover.
Yeah. There it is.
Bloody frightening.
We're literally getting ourselves.
Can you do a war story? Because I did one yesterday on the podcast.
Yes.
And you didn't get a chance to.
This is from B-Man and the Nucky. Shitweed. Hey, the boys thought you might like this one. One fine morning, I awoke feeling like the king of the barnyard after a solid night's sleep. Preparing for a riveting farm meeting, rising from my bed, I executed my usual morning ritual, crafting a cup of joe, snatching the pinnacle of Australian biscuits, the double-coated Tim Tam, and as I savoured the chocolatey delight, a mischievous idea crossed my mind. Why not add a dash of rebellion to the morning? I shall indulge in a bong session.
Cup of Joe, double dip Tim Tam, and a rip
fucking-
of a bong.
And a bug for the morning. I can wake and bake, baby. Wake and bake. With coffee in hand and Tim Tams devoured, I embarked on this green adventure. However, halfway through the botanical symphony, I fucking nearly coughed up a lung. Realising that the weed tasted worse than that chunk of mince I once spotted under the element, abandoning the botanical escapade, I strolled off to work, feeling slightly betrayed by the herb, and returning home hours later. I encountered my missus looking as pale as a ghost. An unusual sight considering her mouldy roots.
Okay.
What's the matter? I queried. She pointed to the bong, and upon inspection, I exclaimed, "What the fucking hell is that gunk on the bong? Is that shit? Is that fucking shit?"
No.
I decided to clean it out, only to unleash a deluge of brown, milky water, holding the bong up to sunlight revealed it was packed to the brim with more brown nuggets than a pack of fucking scorched almonds. Astonished, I asked, how many fucking bongs did you have? To my horror, she admitted around 10. Disgust painted my face as I resorted to a culinary utensil massacre. Armed with a knife and fork, scooping out the nugget-infested bong, witnessing my culinary endeavour, my missus began a symphony of vomit, chanting, "Just chuck it away, just chuck it away." The once prized bong met its demise on the front lawn, then again with the lawnmower. Later, we unravelled the mystery. Our 3-year-old, with ninja-like skills, had turned into a nocturnal alchemist. She had, in chimpanzee fashion, raided her nappy for Fuck.
This will learn you for having the bong in reach.
Or kids.
She had, in chimpanzee fashion, raided her nappy for golden nuggets, depositing them in the bong as if they were treasure tokens, then returned the bong to its not-so-stealth hiding place, then returned to bed. After the chaos subsided, my missus, no longer hurling, burst into laughter, pointing at my face. Alarmed, I checked the mirror, discovered I resembled a Latino sex worker, sporting a thick ring of shit around my lips.
Is that from a fresh hit or is that from all day?
All day.
It is some day.
Quickly after realising I had just been in a 45-minute face-to-face meeting. B-Man from the Necky. I've got loads more stories for you, including nicknames, near-death experiences, and lots of others to come with 18 years farming experience. Cheer the boys. Up the waz, up the Necky, up the missus. P.S. The missus said to say she hates your guys' show. It gives her anxiety. And I just have to say, I love your guys' show. It gives me hope. Keep up the good work, boys.
Pull up your socks, grab your cocks. Time for Not For Radio, boys.
Not for radio.
We used to, back in the day, this is a long time ago.
Monday.
I smoked a bit of weed when I was a teenager, right? Yeah, no.
I think we can all probably, if we were just get a quick fucking canvassing of the room.
Yeah. Love the
It's
devil.
everyone but me.
Love-
Okay, fair.
Love the devil's lettuce. We used to go around to one of my mates' houses, and like on public holidays, we'd bunk off school, whatever. We'd go around there and we'd
Like how you call public holidays just going away from school.
well, it's a good holiday for me. It's a good holiday for me. Go around to the bro's house, pinch some tobacco out of mum's fucking 50 gram, and how's it? And so we go around there and chuck the knives on. And one day, I got driven a spot and coughed my absolute ass off and was like, what the actual fuck was that? I saw it when they picked it up with the knives. I went for it and it sucked. It burned. Like, I'm talking it was like fucking chili powder or something. Turns out that's exactly what it was. But what they'd done is they'd taken a dead fly and dropped it in curry powder, so it looked orange. It had the orange hairs on it. And here you go, Lee, what, your turn? And fuck my ass, that was one of the worst things that's ever happened to me in my life.
You smoked a
I
fly.
got spotted a fly. More fly chat. I remember fucking being baked as one day at my house, and I was on my lazy boy. Lying back, reclined, and this fly was flying around my head, and I was like, oh, you cheeky fuck, what are you up to? And then he came and landed right on my upper lip. And internally I'm going, oh, fucking got you now, mate. And I was going to go and breathe out my nose real heavily to blow it away. But in order for me to, I needed to, so that I would have, long story short, I sucked a fly up through my nose.
Snorted a fly.
And then, and then it coughed and it buzzed and flew out my mouth.
Shows Aussie Osbourne.
It was so yuck, honestly. But I remember seeing it going, oh, fucking got you, mate. And I went, cough, and just shot this fly out.
Isn't there a kid's storybook about that?
There was a dumb fat fuck who snorted a fly.
I don't know why he snorted a fly.
Because he was
Perhaps
high.
he'll die.
Oh, shit. Got a couple of bits of feedback here. Thank you, Lee. This from Toby. Let's just go Toby, actually.
I've heard some shit, and I've fucking never heard that.
So good.
That's amazing.
This is the thing, you can't get away with saying that on the radio. No. That's why this is awesome.
Oh, yeah.
They'll be like, well, you can't talk about snorting flies, mate.
Fucking spotting flies. That is the worst. What shit, mate?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that would have been pretty funny.
It would have been fucking funny.
Just except for Lee.
If the fly was on the other knife, it would have been hilarious for me. I would have been all up. Oh, yeah, Jake, come here.
Yeah. Fuck, it would have tasted like shit.
Oh, it did. Rough.
Toby says, g'day, fellas and felliet. No teague stations away at a wedding. On the back of the tramp stamp chat on yesterday's potty, now this is Jay potentially getting a pal's tramp stamp tomorrow.
It's not looking like it's going to happen.
Nah, what's the follow? If you get to 50,000 followers on your
50, yeah,
on the Pals, which is Jay's Drinks Company TikTok account.
So this is where it's kind of come a little bit unstuck. So I had a meeting with the girls this morning just before coming in here, and they were like, "How good is it? 15K, we made it." And I was like, "No." And I was like, 50, and they're like, "No, we said 15." I was like, fucking bullshit. Yeah, it's even written 50K. Yeah. So they're looking for a wiggle room. Anywho.
So he says, I've been seriously considering getting a give a fuck as a tramp stamp. I live my life by that motto and might as well chuck it on the old rig. The missus has said all good, but just do it after our wedding in 2 weeks. So I'm also looking for recommendations for a good tattooist around Palmy or Fielding. Expect photos within the month, up the wires. P.S. A nickname I was given at high school might give you a giggle too. So I was pretty short and fat at high school. With the kids being dicks, my name went from Toby Hanford to Tubby Handjob.
Fuck, kids are horrible.
Tubby Handjob.
Are horrible. I would just...
being called to handjobs up there with one of the worst nicknames. Is anybody listening? You can slide into our DM, send us a message or whatever on the Not For Radio Facebook page.
If you want to give us a hand job.
But, well, that also. Now you've raised that. Wouldn't mind one. But no. Has anybody got a worse one? Like, I reckon your mate Dog Tit is up there because it's just...
Yeah. Sex Pest is the worst.
You got a mate called Sex Pest.
I'm in business with a Sex Pest. He is a fucking he has a very, very important role.
Wow.
Yeah. And doesn't like it when I introduce him as Sex Pest, clearly.
Yeah, yeah. I got a mate called, well, I haven't seen him in a long time, but so his mum most likely slept with somebody else. So they had a white Pakeha son and then one with a pretty good tan that we don't know where it came from.
Yeah, recessive Italian genes.
So he was called Milkman.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Oh, God, that's rough.
So add insult to injury.
Yeah. But if you got a worse one, send it through. Because the ones that stick through until adulthood, and you're just like, that was fucking classic in high school. Not so classic now that you're a CEO of a company.
Skid Mark. Or I bought my mate in a couple of months before Christmas. His nickname's Squid Sack. He got hit in the nuts with a cricket ball, and his scrotum swelled up to the size of like a fucking grapefruit or a rock melon, and he had to go and get it drained twice a week, and it looked like a big old squid's head, so we call him squid sack.
Fucking hell.
It's amazing they can get that big, eh? Like, does your brain ever think about how big would they go if you didn't have a scrotum? Like, if they were hanging a bit looser, or you had, like, unlimited scrot skin, and you got hit in the nuts, like, how big? Because, like, you would think max, and they're getting held.
Quite stretchy.
I mean, incredibly stretchy now, but if it had a bit more give, could you get to the size of a bowling ball?
Like a moon hopper.
That's pretty much, I used to teach with a guy, and he was called the Ram, because he literally had the fucking most gigantic testicles that you've ever seen. Like, even if he had a 12-inch dick, it would have looked tiny, fucking parked up on top of
How big
his,
are we talking?
Like, fucking, like, his nuts would have been...
Oh, so they hung low.
Well, they were just fucking massive. Like, it'd be... his
so
missus would...
annoying.
It'd be like clubbing her to death, like, fucking from behind. Just...
So he's like a one of those pears you hang off your tow bar.
Bigger than that. Yeah, they were fucking freakish.
Oh, by the way, did I tell this story? So there were some neighbours that moved, when I was in Christchurch back at home, and over the break, there were some neighbours that had moved in, and Mum and Dad had been away, so they've been waiting to meet them. And the lady comes up, I'm out there without my hat on, fairly grey beard. She's like, "Oh, you're finally home." I was like, "Oh, fuck, Dad's 70, but okay." And then anyway, so I'm chatting to her and
played along.
Lovely chick. And then she was like, "Oh, that's pretty classic turnaround." And Dad's got like a mint condition. It's like a 1992 Hilux. You know that?
Yeah.
It's like brand new. It's crazy.
Sick.
And off the back of it, so he's probably still got the sticker, I forget, but he used to have a sticker on the back of his truck. Keep working, thousands on welfare depend on you.
That's a Dutchman.
I know. And then so maybe he doesn't roll that one anymore. I think he's got like a Canterbury weather sticker on there. And then and she goes, "Oh, that's quite funny." And Dad had a set of testicles hanging off the tow ball. And not only were they like real big ones, and that car's quite low to the ground, I was like, that's pretty fucking classic. Like, he obviously had an ad pop up on, on Facebook or whatever, and he's clicked buy now. Not only were they like big and awesome looking, but they were white. And then I clicked, I was like, hang on a minute, they're fucking glow in the dark. And then I had a bit of a closer look after she left, and I turned them around, and then they were battery powered too. So not only they glow in the dark, and they got LED lights in them.
What is your dad up to? Buying fucking glow-in-the-dark balls for the back of his Hilux.
You want to see the back of Mum's car? No.
See the LED lights blue and red, you think a cop's coming up and it's just some fucking nuts.
I was like, it's such a rogue purchase. He didn't even tell anybody either. It's been on there that long. Like, I tried to press the button, the batteries are gone. We digress. Another piece of feedback here from David Beach, Speed of Cars.
Legend. Beach is a legend.
One of the great snipers. Heartwarming story of connection. And the petrol station in my local town filling up the work van when we saw a young lad trying to start his car. He had battery issues. We helped with jumper leads, but still to no avail. Another van pulled up and we tried double jumping it. The BMW burst into life, removing the jump leads from the car, and the van driver said to me, weren't you on Not For Radio? Guilty as charged. Not For Radio famous. Love the connection you guys have brought. Legends with Alan Sim. So he must have had Alan Sim with him. Crazy, eh?
That's fucking awesome. Yeah. That is really, really, really cool.
Also, one more piece of feedback got sent through from yesterday's podcasting. It was that's fucked. Other side of the world.
It is fucked. Yeah, I caught up with my mate Scutsy, whose old man runs that golf course down south. And he was like, he said it's fucking wild the number of people that drive around on the generally Australians that have come over to play the course, and they jam a Yui boom in, and they're just listening to fucking Not For Radio at full noise, and he's had to have a word now, like, just boys, keep a fucking lid on this. This is all well and good for you to listen to it in the car, listen to it at home, but the shit that those guys are talking about and it being on a golf course at that volume is fucking unprofessional.
Yeah, apologies. If you're on a golf course right now.
Untidy.
We're sorry. Enjoy the 19th hole. My mate messaged me over the break as well. She was saying she heard her neighbours in Australia listen to the podcast over the fence. It was that loud. She didn't send me a video, and it's like playing in the neighbour's house. Like, oh man, this is getting out of control.
It's awesome. I fucking love it.
So, how do you say the W word again? We learned it like 3 days ago.
Worcestershire.
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 Worcestershire sauce. We were talking about that, and I was like, that had to be a fucking mistake because it's got to be like
Yes.
fermented and stuff.
Yes.
And so somebody sent through, apologies, I forget who it was.
It was me.
No, but you
Oh,
stole
someone
it from
sent it
somebody
to-
else.
yeah,
They said-
yeah.
So Jay, so I was on a message with Jay and they sent it to both of us.
Yeah.
And then Jay goes, "Have you seen this?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm on the message, fuckface." Anyway, so I said it must have been a mistake.
Yeah.
100% must have been a mistake. Like someone's fucked up and they've come back to it like a long time later and then has gone, "Oh, it actually tastes all right." Turns out that's exactly what happened. So this is from an article. The story goes that one day in the 1830s, Lord Sandys, a former governor of Bengal, walked into some drugstore, requested that the two operators make a sauce based on a recipe he had discovered while staying in India. Using worldly ingredients they had at their disposal, they made 2 batches of the sauce, one for Lord Sandys and one for themselves. But after tasting the sauce made for themselves, they both found it absolutely foul tasting, stashed it in the store's cellar. And then approximately 18 months later, the sauce was rediscovered by them, who realised it had developed into something else entirely. It was sweet yet salty, peppery yet acidic. It was absolutely delicious and destined to be a hit. They then released the sauce commercially in 1837. It was instantly beloved both for its flavour and its durability, as it didn't need to be refrigerated. And due to the store's proximity of England's 2 major ports, it became extremely popular among sailors and stewards who brought bottles aboard their ships to improve the bland food made to survive weeks at sea. By 1843, so 13 years later, approximately 15,000 bottles of the sauce a year were being produced and sold, and by 1849, shipments were being delivered to as far away as San Francisco.
And would that have been Lee and Parents? Were they the originators of that?
Yeah, it was. That's how it is. Same people. Still make it now. Imagine a watertight patent. Poor old Indians have been getting their shit stolen off them. Not the only thing bloody the UK tried to steal off India.
So those poor pricks over in Thailand that gave that businessman a Red Bull.
Oh my!
He whacked it in the soda stream machine and fucking thanks, mate.
Oh, I forgot about that.
I want and this is once again just purely out of curiosity. Are you an heir to some crazy?
Just anything
like
half decent.
Well, yeah, just like an heir. It doesn't necessarily need to be a fortune, but you are an heir to.
Oh shit!
I don't know, fucking something.
Can I just say the name of that book? Because funny you say that. The book that I was listening to was based on like the country Australia's top sheep shearing station and wool provider for fine wool, so Merino. It's called Black Sheep. If you want to have a listen,
Sick.
It's fucking really, really good. I love those ones that transport you into a different time and place.
Yeah,
because you learn so much about it.
Yeah, it's particularly. I didn't even know that the level of animals were held even in New Zealand. So where Lake Hawea Station is, that was part of a collection of bigger stations, which went right out over Linda's Pass, and they had 100,000 sheep on that station back in the day. Like the land holding was huge.
So back in the day, if you were a Top Gun shearer, you'd be able to do about 200 sheep a day because it was handheld, like manual shearing.
Yeah, so these were all 100,000 sheep would be shorn with shears. Yeah, clippers. They look
the
like
old
big
school
scissors.
ones. Yeah. So that was the number. That was like the absolute gun shearer could do 200 in a day. And what did Aiden, my mate, do last year? He's got a world record.
Fucking 3,500 or something.
I don't know. It was like 700 or 800 or something like that. And that's where they're at with the clippers now. And the original clippers or motorized shearing ones were powered by steam. Out of a day, so you had to light a fire in the shearing shed and then boil the water, and they were powered by steam somehow. Like, fucking hell.
Impressive.
Yeah, I mean,
There's
you'd
heaps of
probably be wanting to look for an easier way when you're only getting through 200 a day and you've got 100,000 to do. Fucking going to be there a while, eh?
If you were a shearing gang and you rolled up on 100,000 head of sheep to shear, even with clippers, you'd be like, fuck me, this is going to take days, if weeks.
Oh, yeah, months. You'd have a shearing gang of 50 probably.
Yeah, and then same for those that are shearing, because obviously they shear them ahead of them lambing so that they obviously, bring the next generation into the world a little bit easier. You're trying to fucking knock them all out to make sure that it coincides with them lambing. What a ball ache.
So I'm just going to throw this out there after reading / listening to that book. Is there a more debaucherous profession than shearing? Because so in this book, and you've heard it, work hard, play hard with shearers.
Yeah.
They will fucking do 12, 14 hours a day of shearing, go to the pub and sink piss, pay for a prostitute, and then go back, and they do that 6 nights a week.
Fight the whole pub, and then
get
get back
and
into it.
fight, and then they'll just get back into it the next day, and they'll normally have half, or back then would have half of Sunday off because they sleep the first half of Sunday because they get fucking extra written off because they're not working on Sunday.
They are a different level of
But
human.
you think of like fishermen or something like that, but you can't.
Yeah, deadliest catch. They can't get hammered.
Nah, they will work really hard and it's super rogue, and maybe some people doing, mining for oil or something, but you can't be on the piss all the time doing that either.
Yeah. And the physical output that they've got is crazy. So on that station that we go and visit down south, Dome Hills, in from Livingston basically, which is where the settlement was, massive amounts of gold activity there. You can still see the water races that were dug back in like the fucking 1840s or whatever.
Let's buy a digger.
Eh?
Let's go and fucking look for some gold.
I can't imagine they'd still be fucking there if there was any around. But,
nah, fuck, they just moved on.
Yeah, well, and this is...
Imagine getting a wee fucking $1 million nuggie.
It'd be pretty sick. It's pretty hard going up there because it's all whatever it's schist, yeah. And so at the bottom in this place called Livingston is the first proper sex workers thing. It's called the mooring, and that went in I think it was like 1826. It was one of the first knock shops in New Zealand because of the gold activity that was there by Danzi's Pass.
It's such a weird concept to think that there would have been those workers jumping on a ship 7 weeks earlier, going to the other side of the world to then go to the middle of nowhere in New Zealand, up a mountain range, and then park up in a fucking hut to get bogged up. What are you doing? Oh, it's New Zealand. I'm just going to go get bogged up over there for cash.
I'm just going to go sail there, fucking 4 weeks on a boat, sick, and then I'm going to travel the length of the country on a fucking horse and cart, and then go inland, and then have no security, no support.
And
just get fucking filled up by every Tom, Dick, and Harry that's in the hills.
Yeah, and they've got nothing else to spend their money on. Like, you can't, like, at some point back then, like, if you're, collecting gold or whatever, at some point you might just have too much gold to carry. And then what, that's your maxis. Not that you're going down and walking down to the bank, are you? You've got to carry it. At some point you'll be flicking away the smaller nuggets.
Yeah.
Because you can't fucking walk with any more. And then you walk, like, say you go back into town, you're like, yeah, fuck, you're going to go cash this in. You see some bloke and you'd be like, oh, he's a bit far away from a mine, I'll roll him and take his rucksack.
Exactly.
That's what I'd do.
It's the fucking Wild West.
Yeah.
You're criminally minded, though, so that would make sense.
Well, I'm not the only one that I'm supposed to say. You're the one that's been to jail.
It was a short stint and it was in remand.
Hey, I'm just going to pitch this idea for you, put it in the run sheet for today's radio show. And I don't know if it's going to work or not. And this is what I'm just pulling the curtain back a little bit on the radio show, but I thought it could be quite funny. So, you know how we used to do a thing called Friday F years. So you just be like, fuck yeah, that's my plans for the weekend. Idea was sort of, to G everyone up for the weekend, get everyone excited.
Inspire those that need some inspiration.
I've sort of flipped it on its head because sometimes, people have boring weekends. Sometimes people have 98% of their weekends are boring. I was like, what about we do a little bit of lying on the radio show? So we go, oh, what are your plans for the weekend? They go, oh, yeah, real big weekend plans, mate. And then they tell us a complete fucking lie. And then we ask them what their plans really are. For example, oh, mate, it's going to be huge. The boys and I are chartering a yacht and deep sea fishing for monster kingies and straight to a private beach party. Some DJ's flying out from Ibiza for it.
Yeah.
Oh, what are you really doing? Oh, fuck, I'm just taking the old Honda Fit for a waft, trying to take it and fix a leaky tap in the kitchen. It's like just dream a little bit. It's almost like I wish my weekend was this sick. Like you're holding onto the lotto ticket. Like if I won, I'll do this.
It sounded like a yarn from Jay from the In-Betweeners. Yeah, fucking got this private yacht. We're fucking going to Ibiza. A couple of top fucking lesbian models are coming out, and my dad's going to be there with the Cray twins. Yeah.
Fuck off! You get a waft for your Honda Fit. Oh, jeez.
I like it.
That'll do, Donkey. Thanks for listening to the Not For Radio podcast.
Oh, we've actually got some...
No, I think you'll find if you listen to the start of this episode, Jay, that hasn't been recorded yet because we do the intro after.
Oh, yes.
That is already played out at the start. But no, it's good. Onto it, not onto it.
Friday, and looks like we're going to have a strong weekend.
Let's go have a beer and a pie. Have a great weekend, even if you're fixing a leaky tap and getting a waft for your Honda Fit. Fucking Chaho.